There are a lot of men who, if you asked them, do you want a Rolls Royce or would you prefer a Honda? They would say, I want a Rolls Royce. But the thing is, even if they were to be gifted a Rolls Royce, they would not be able to maintain that vehicle. And the same is true for women. If you just give yourself to a low effort man, he will run you into the ground just like he would run that Rolls Royce into the ground because he can't afford the maintenance. He can't afford the insurance. He doesn't know what it takes to take care of something like that. And he doesn't know what it takes to take care of you. Here's the thing. The Rolls Royce is perfectly safe at the dealership. You are perfectly safe at home by yourself, maintaining yourself. And it's only a certain type of person who can come in, qualify to take that vehicle home. And you have to keep that in mind as you are single, as you have standards, as you have maintenance requirements that seem pretty basic to you. They are crippling to someone who has never been exposed to that type of woman. Nothing wrong with you.
So this is women empowerment in 2025? Women shaming men for entertainment like it's a group therapy session. They compare themselves to luxury cars and being high maintenance, but don't talk about how many men got a test drive on them before they pumped the brakes and decided to settle down. Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today you're gonna see some crazy stuff, but before that, please consider subscribing to the channel. We upload new videos every day and you don't wanna miss those. Alright, let's get into it.
I know the economy is literal shit right now, but why does everything have to just keep getting so expensive and like literally so unaffordable for so many people? It's ridiculous. I get my nails done. Yes, I took some time off. Yes, it is like a luxury that I can afford to get my nails done. But it's getting to the point that it's like a little bit crazy. Like $85 to get French tips. Like I don't get a manicure. I don't get anything crazy. $85. Like what is happening? I know things have to like go up in price, you know, with whatever. But like inflation, are you kidding me? It should not be this bad. Even with like apartments. Everybody wants to increase apartments and the rent. You're kidding. Nobody can afford it. My salary does not increase just because you want to increase rent.
$85. You are telling me you are okay spending $85 on something that lasts 2 weeks, barely shows, and can get peeled off by accident. Meanwhile, men spend that same money on AAA games they can enjoy for years. The priorities could not be any clearer.
I heard someone once say that single people are living life like the cost of life at 100%, and married people are living at 50% off. And oh, they have it so easy.
More like married women are the ones living at 80% off. That is why men barely think about marriage anymore. Being single gives them the freedom to focus on what they want and spend their money on themselves instead of carrying someone else's lifestyle.
Guys, can we just talk about how expensive it is to be single and not in a relationship? Can we just talk about that, right? Everyone goes on, you know, all these haters online on the videos talking about dating and we want to try and find rich men. We're not trying to find rich men. We're trying to find men who've got a good job, who can support themselves so we don't have to support another person. Okay, I've got 2 kids and me that I'm supporting solely, right, with food, clothing, everything else that goes with it. But can we just talk about how expensive it is to be single? Okay, so I have to pay my house, my rent, mortgage, whatever else we're paying out on my own. Normally, if you were with a partner or you were married, you would split that. Or if you're lucky enough to have a partner that earns enough money to pay for you, then obviously they're paying for the whole thing. But in general, for most people, that would be half the amount of money. And then obviously council tax, that would be halved. And then all the bills halved, food shopping halved. I mean, it is really, really expensive to be single, isn't it? It's so expensive to be single. Part of me thinks I should just be in a relationship just to save money. I'd do all right then. I'd be okay then. Has everybody else just realised this? How expensive it is to be single?
Guys, did you hear her saying it's so expensive to be single? I think she said it's so expensive to be single. What do you think? Is it really that expensive to be single? Or is it just her that thinks it's so expensive to be single?
I I am tired of the amount of gaslighting us single people have to go through. Because let's be honest, a lot of the things that our friends in relationships can get for free, we have to pay for. And there's no amount of self-love or therapy that can kind of circumvent the frustration that being single is very expensive. Because if, an example, I am sick, I don't have anyone who can cook for me. My friend can ask her boyfriend to cook for her. I have to DoorDash something. If I need help moving something in my house, I need to go find someone and pay that person to come over and move it. Well, my friend can just ask her partner. And all those things just add up. If you lose your job, you have someone who can help you with rent. If you are having like financial trouble or health trouble, you now need to like disclose that to your family or friends, which might be embarrassing, or you can tell your one husband or your wife to help you through that. It is so frustrating to have to go through so many things alone and make these really big decisions, hard decisions completely by myself. I have my friends, I have my family, I love them, I can lean on them, but maybe I don't want to tell them all about my finances. Maybe I don't want to have to over-explain my entire health condition to them. Maybe I just need someone to help me with a real quick task that I don't want to have to pay someone or wait for someone to drive across town to come help me. And it is so frustrating because we're told that, being single is great. And it's really great when compared to an unhealthy relationship. But being single is not always better than having a healthy relationship. Don't get me wrong, I am not going to go hop into a relationship with a man just so I can have someone. But I do think we need to be honest that being single, while it can be really great, is also very impractical sometimes.
This is the part of modern feminism nobody wants to touch. The movement spent a decade telling women they do not need men for anything. Then the moment real life gets inconvenient, suddenly the absence of a man becomes a crisis. Everything she listed are the exact responsibilities men have carried alone without applause, hashtags, or support. But when women feel that same weight, it becomes an argument for why men should step back into the role they were told was oppressive.
Why isn't anybody talking about the single tax? It is significantly more expensive to be single, to the point that it's like economically irresponsible to cook when you're single. It costs $75 to make a meal, not to mention the cost of running the dishwasher, washing up all of the pots and pans. And then what am I gonna do? Eat lasagna for 6 days? When I could use Uber Eats and one of their various codes each week to get a salad for $9. Imagine paying half your rent because you share your apartment with somebody, half your electricity bills, half your cable, Hulu, Amazon, Netflix subscriptions. When you're going to the airport on a trip, you don't have to pay $70 for an Uber by yourself because you're splitting it with somebody. Forget saving money on a Costco membership. When am I ever going to use 36 apples? It's honestly the only argument I have for getting in a relationship. It is expensive to stay single. Just imagine if there were no more single people. The food and beverage industry would just collapse.
She says the only argument left for getting into a relationship is that being single costs too much. That tells you everything. They want to use men as financial aid so they do not crumble, so they can still get their nails done, buy makeup kits they do not need, share a Netflix subscription, and have someone covering the Uber rides they do not want to pay for themselves. Yikes.
When a man is handsome, educated, and makes good money but is still single, what's his problem?
Problem. That is an interesting term to use. But why exactly does there have to be a problem with someone if they choose to remain single? And I have noticed this is a rather common thought process amongst a lot of individuals, and that goes for men as well as for women, especially if that person falls into the categories mentioned of being attractive, well-educated, and financially stable, that there naturally has to be a problem with them if they're not in a relationship with someone. Now, to be perfectly clear, there is nothing wrong with a person who wants to be in a relationship with another person. It's absolutely natural to want companionship in life. But I might add that there is nothing wrong with remaining single. And just because a person is single doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them. That is a mindset that I think needs to be changed among a lot of individuals out there. But why exactly is it such a common idea? I think that's something that needs to be further looked into, because I find it rather odd that a person would naturally think that there's something wrong with someone if they're perfectly happy being single.
When women ask why a man who is handsome, educated, and financially stable is still single, it is like they assume he must have some secret flaw that makes him impossible to date. What they fail to understand is that most men are perfectly fine being single. They have been proving that for decades, and if anything, the number of miserable married men who turn their lives back around after divorce should tell you exactly why staying single is not the problem they think it is.
So for all the men out there who are like, oh, women don't want to chase us anymore because they're all boss babing their way through life and they're financially independent. Most of us are broke as fuck. Most women like myself are struggling financially in this economy. Half of my wage goes towards rent. And despite this, many women still don't want to find a man. Not because they're thriving. I'm certainly not thriving. I'm fucking flirting with financial ruin. But would rather be broke and alone than with you going 50-50, putting up with your bullshit and giving us the bare minimum. We are over it.
So she admits most women are broke and barely hanging on, but somehow being with a man is still a worse option than staying one bill away from collapse. That tells you everything about the mindset. Men keep getting told that going 50-50 is offensive, even while she is saying half her income goes to rent and she is flirting with financial ruin. At this point, it is not about money or independence. It is about pride, and men have stopped trying to fix a situation that was never their problem to begin with.
Here's a hot take. A lot of people are staying single, men especially, because they don't want to be a burden financially. Because life right now is so stinking expensive. Like the cost of living, whether you're renting an apartment or paying a mortgage, it outweighs monthly with all your bills added up. Electric, water, your phone bill, absolutely everything you can think of, your car payment. It all adds up, and nobody wants to be a financial burden. If you have credit card payments, if you have college payments, they don't want to bring that baggage to their partner, so they'd rather struggle alone, which is so sad, but that's the truth. You could work, I just watched a video of a guy talking about how he makes $70,000 a year, and it's still financially hard, which 70 grand is a lot of money in this day and age still. I mean, 70 grand where I'm from, that's a lot of money. Imagine being a school teacher. It's unrealistic. Or having children. That guy was single. Have children in this day and age. It's hard out here. That's why everyone is single. That's why I'm single too. I'm not looking. Nobody's looking.
Ma'am, that's not a hot take. That's the brutal truth. Why would anyone be okay with becoming a financial burden? Oh, that's right. It's something most women never had to think about. When men pay most of the expenses in a relationship, society calls it expected. It's his job, his duty, his responsibility. But the moment a man says no, he's labeled selfish or unambitious. When a woman says she wants to be single and independent, it's empowering.
I really didn't realize that one of the most expensive decisions of my life would actually be staying single. Being single is excruciatingly expensive in this world, like straight up monetarily. No one to split rent with, no one to split groceries with, no one who has your back when maybe you need a little support and can't pay your bills one month. No one buying you little treats and gifts that you wish you could get for yourself. No one splitting the cost of hotel rooms when you travel. Never getting +1s to anyone's weddings or events and having to pay for everything completely by yourself, including gift. Not getting married means paying more taxes. Never having anyone to help with a down payment and a home. No one to sign as guarantor in case you need it. I think it's actually one of the most effed up parts of society, because as more and more people either choose to stay single or stay single because the quality of partners in this world are so terrible, life continues to get more and more and more expensive. And that is a consequence of singlehood that I don't think a lot of us really expected.
She says staying single is the most expensive decision a person can make. Married men would not agree with that for a second. The real issue she is pointing at is that it only becomes a problem when women finally feel the weight of paying for everything themselves. Men have been doing that their entire lives, and nobody treated it like some tragic social flaw. Singlehood only feels unfair to people with the wrong mindset, and that comes straight from the feminist agenda that told women independence means paying their own bills, renting their own place, traveling alone, and all the rest of the shenanigans. They wanted the freedom, and now they are shocked by the cost.
Ladies, the more expensive you look and the more expensive you sound, whether that's through your education, how worldly you are, what you wear, you know, if you're dripped out in designers or you just have like a really elegant look about you. You know who you are, by the way, if you're in this category. The more expensive you look, the smaller your dating pool is going to be, because a lot of men, while they might pursue you for their own personal ego validation, will have a hard time committing to you because your presence makes them feel insecure. See, men are hardwired to be providers. And so if they see someone like you, they might feel like, I can't provide anything for her that she doesn't already have. Or I can't impress her the way I can impress a woman who doesn't have all those things. So they will go for a girl who makes them feel a lot more in their masculine energy. And sometimes it's not about you. It's just about them and their own complex. I've used this example before about Bugattis, right? Bugattis are beautiful, luxury, expensive cars, but there's a reason not a lot of people walk into that dealership, because not a lot of people can afford them. And even the people who can afford them sometimes feel insecure about like the fact that someone could steal the car, or they don't want to, you know, drive around in something that flashy. So I'm not saying turn yourself into a Toyota or a Benz, but don't be surprised when not a lot of people walk into your dealership if you're giving out that expensive vibe, because like I said, the pool is just smaller. Hold out for the right customer. Wink, wink. And no, I'm not objectifying women. Follow for more and good luck.
Oh, great. Another car metaphor. She says the dating pool gets smaller the more expensive you look. Translation, the higher the attitude climbs, the fewer men are willing to put up with it. Men are not avoiding women because they feel unworthy. They are avoiding women because they know exactly how much that mindset costs in the long run. Anyway, that's all for today, gentlemen. If you made it this far, make sure to like the video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and share it with someone who still thinks men are the problem. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and don't let the noise get to you. Peace!